sa Philippine cinema, kailangan pa siguro ng improvement. Medyo, yung ibang movies, maganda. Pero yung iba kasi nakakasawa.
Hindi siya masyadong okay compared sa mga movies sa other countries.
Yung mainstream na parang sa akin, hindi ko siya gusto.
Actually, sobrang natatabunan na siya ng pagka-mainstream.
Mga story ng mga movies from the Philippines is parang cliche na. Alam na predict na natin kung ano yung ending, kung ano yung tuloy-tuloy na storya ng isang pelikula.
Yung mga mainstream, sobrang babaw.
Okay siya pero hindi siya ganun enough for me.
Predictable na siya.
Sobrang natutuwa ako sa indie films ngayon kasi inaangat nila muli yung mga hindi lang yung mga kilala na actors, actresses, pati yung mga local actors.
Indie film ngayon, ang huli kong pampanood, tama, Cinemalaya. Maganda actually yung pinanood namin yung Hari ng Tondo. Maganda siya. Quality, okay lang.
Yung mga stories ng indie films kasi about how people live, 'di ba? Sa reality. Hindi siya yung gawa-gawa lang talaga. So, ayun.
Tapos yung indie films na parang more on issues talaga siya. Parang talagang parang talagang pinagtrabahuhan ng mabuti.
Indie film kasi original, like everything original. So, hindi siya mainstream, pero maganda yung story niya. Yun siguro yung...
Pati yung story nila, hindi siya yung ganun ka-natural or hindi siya yung ganun ka-common.
Sa mga indie films naman, okay sila kasi yung mga ginagawa nila is parang binibase nila sa totoong nangyayari sa buhay ng mga Pilipino.
Pero siguro kung mabibigyan pa ng mas malaking budget yung indie films, talagang gaganda.
Yung mga inalagaya ng mga napanood ko na sa Cinemalaya, parang yung mga makatotohanan nangyayari sa bansa natin is pinapakita nila.
Sana yung mga mainstream na cinemas ngayon, ganun din makuha nila, yung hindi sila nag-focus sa quality, kundi sa story. Kasi kahit sabihin mo na sobrang cheap nung ginastos lang sa Cinemalaya films, maganda yung story, kaya minsan parang na-e-engganyahan yung mga filmmakers na katulad namin, hindi naman filmmaker, pero yung mga students na-e-engganyahan gumawa ng films kasi gusto nila yung story. Hindi sila after dun sa quality, dun sa story gusto nila.
Philippine cinema. Philippine cinema is actually parang, for me, Philippine cinema is the moving pictures that talks about the Philippine culture, the history of the people, talks about the Filipinos per se, in general. I mean, mainstream cinema is more of the commercial films, whereas yung independent film is more of giving the directors, the artists more freedom to express themselves without really bothering if this will make a box office hit or what. But it's more of the art in filmmaking. So I think that's the major difference between the two of them. Kaya lang, yun na nga, kung minsan, yung mainstream kasi is more on the commercial side. And kung minsan nasa-sacrifice yung artistic value ng film because of the commercial aspect. Actually, maraming problema hinaharap yung film industry ngayon. One is the tax that filmmakers have to pay. Parang ang laki-laki ng tax kasi, di ba? It hampers the filmmakers, Second is Yun na nga, competitive kasi yung film in a sense na nakikinabang mostly yung, siyempre yung mga malalaking studios, di ba? Kasi sila yung may pera eh. So yung mga maliliit na filmmakers, medyo nahihirapan sila to compete with this. But the truth is, yung independent scene, parang mas may value, mas may content yung ginagawa nilang film kesa dun sa commercial, you know. I think it's still the commercialism. It's the biggest problem is that. Parang pera muna. Pag hindi kikita, huwag natin gawin. And if we keep on doing that, mawawala yung essence ng filmmaking. You know? Let me put it in a more bigger perspective. Like, in the early years of the Philippine cinema, we have the first golden age of Philippine cinema. You know, sila, yung mga directors like Lamberto Avellana, you know, Jerry De Leon. You know, we have these films, which, you know, they made classical films. And then after that, we have the second wave of the golden age of Philippine cinema. Lumabas na sila Lino Broca, Ismael Bernal, Mike De Leon, you know. Ito yung mga talagang, until now, their films are classics, you know. And sad to say, it stopped there. Parang we're waiting, we're trying to develop the third golden era of Philippine cinema. Eh, ang problema nga, masyadong commercial ngayon, di ba? Pag walang pera, hindi gagawin. Pero noon kasi, hindi. We do it because it's a good film. You know? Pero ngayon, di ba? Pera yung laban. And nako-compromise lagi yung art ng filmmaking. I think this is the biggest problem to cinema right now. I have a bright perspective for that. Because in the event of, you know, digital filmmaking, mas accessible na sa tao yung editing softwares, ang dami ng camera, cheaper cameras that could come out with, you know, you could use to create films with. Tas marami na rin content, maganda na yung content. Ngayon, the Filipino writers are now focused on cultivating history, you know, creating more essential stories with more meaning in it, you know. Tapos na-express na natin yung kultura natin, yung mga tradisyon ng Pilipino. If the people, if the Filipino people will support this new breed of filmmakers, I think we're on our road to the third golden era of filmmaking. Yun yung nakikita ko na I think that will help us if we get the right support. Right now, I think the Filipino people or the Filipino audience is getting to understand the essence of film. Kasi makikita natin sa mga film festival natin like CINEMANILA, the Cinema One Originals, you know. It's being what do you call this? It's being patronized by a lot of people now, di ba? Marami nang tumitingin sa kanya, di ba? Kaya I think we have a good shot. Let me talk about the standing of the whole picture of Philippine cinema at the moment. I think people are getting more awakened and more aware of the value and the importance of the new wave of filmmakers. No? Makikita mo naman like CINEMANILA, the Cinema One Originals. People start patronizing them, you know. Yung nakaraan CINEMANILA, most of the films are sold out, you know. Yung pagbago ka makanood, maaga ka bumili tickets because a lot of people goes there to watch it, you know. So ibig sabihin, they're slowly but surely learning to really watch good film. But right now, I think the Philippine cinema is growing better because of the different festivals that's being launched in the whole country. May Cinema Region, you know. So all the different regions are encouraged to produce their own films, talk about their own culture, deal about their own traditions, which I think is the true essence of Philippine cinema. Today, right now, I think Philippine cinema is in a renaissance stage, you know. It's starting to bloom again, starting to grow, starting to get better again. To help the film industry grow bigger and become more progressive and more creatively productive, I think the new generations of filmmakers should learn to study better content, to learn about what's going on around them, you know, to present life in a better perspective, no matter how sad the issue is, but present it the way it should be presented, without the you know, the commercial glamour in it, but rather it's like a documentation of what life is about. And you talk about reality, you talk about, you know, preserving our culture, preserving our traditions, preserving the Philippine history, you know. If we focus on that, then our films become timeless, you know, and that will eventually not only help the film industry, but will help the next generation to understand what happened in the past.